Alright, let's go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Hey everyone, what's new? Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. Usually, whenever I mention YouTube channel, it'll just be like a quick mention or something. I've never done a full video dedicated to a YouTube channel that I can recall, like just talking about them. But this is also a very unique circumstance because I can't recall a YouTube channel that I watch that has just closed, period. It has actually been shut down. Most YouTube channels either they go on like an indefinite hiatus, or they just stop being active, or they're just still going, and whether they're getting the same amount of views or less amount of views, they're still going to some capacity. But SourceFed just recently straight up canceled, and that's a really unique situation because it's one of those unique channels that was funded by a corporation. So this was out of their control. So that's always the problem with a corporation. Like, you can't do these kinds of things that they were doing in videos. You can't afford to have all these people in the crew that they did without this money. But when you have that money, they also can just take it away just like that. That's a cold corporation move right there. Just one example right here. It's really crazy because SourceFed, only a couple of weeks ago, there was almost no indication that they were going to cancel. People were like saying, "Oh, I saw this coming for a long time." No, you didn't. Have they been getting less reviews than they did before? Yes, they definitely have. But there was never a thought, like, I always thought, yeah, it seems like they're getting less reviews than I wish they would, because they definitely deserve more too. That was the thing. Recently, they've been getting so good. I felt like the recent commentaries especially are a good indication of just how good the new crew is too. And people really don't give them enough credit. I don't think you hear so many people coming that watched the channel back like 2012, 2014 era and then stopped. So many of these people are coming back now that they hear the news and they're like, yeah, it all went downhill from there. But really, they didn't give it a fair shot. You can tell by these comments that most of them did not watch the very recent ones, especially, because that's what a lot of the crew was saying on SourceFed. That in the last 3 months, they felt like they were finding their new groove, I guess, and it was really kind of coming together. But then they were just cut off like that. Yeah, and then like a week or so ago, rumors started coming out on the Reddit about them being canceled, and then it was like the next day, SourceFed's final week. Just out of nowhere, really. And at least from how they presented it made it seem like they only found out like a week before, so it was really sudden for them too. We don't know how long it's been developing or anything like that, no specific details, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about SourceFed because it's really become a big part of my daily routine. I've grown to love everyone involved with that channel now, and from the old crew to the new crew. I do want to say that I can't say that I've been there the whole time from 2012, 2017. That's not how it was for me. In fact, I discovered them only recently, I believe, in the past year or two. I really can't remember. I wish I had a record of these kinds of things, especially for something like this. I'd like to know when exactly I came on board. But I do think it was around, or at least the first videos I watched. I don't know, because, a lot of people jump into a channel like in some of their older videos, so I do believe I jumped in, like some of the first ones I saw were their like Reddit 50/50s, Will Reina kind of videos, 2014, 2015. But I do believe it might be even a little bit later that I actually did watch those. So regardless, I've grown to love them, and just like with any channel you really love, you tend to go back and check where they came from, the roots. And I definitely see why people praise the original crew so much, because they really did have an amazing chemistry. It's really almost just a miracle that this channel came to be and got so successful from where it was. But I really appreciate the new crew, especially being someone who started in the channel later on. I really love some of the later recruits, and While the original crew isn't as close to my heart as it is for a lot of people, because that's not where I started with, but I'd still definitely appreciate their talent. And I watched the entirety of the final live stream, 6 hours. I did not watch it live, but I did go back and watch all of it. And it really was probably the best way you could possibly send off a channel. Like, an excellent live stream. I was really hoping, because the last SourceFed plays they streamed, Jackbox Party games, and it was really crappy quality video. So I was really like dreading. It was like, oh, this last live stream, I really hope it's not that potato quality they have with SourceFed plays the whole time. But no, it was a superb quality, like the same quality as our videos throughout. A strong stream, like no connection issues for a whole 6 hours, and they had a great schedule lined up. Unfortunately, the Truth or Dare had to be cut because they were running out of time, I guess. But there were some really awesome moments. Like, yeah, I ate too many croissants. You have no idea how many times I rewatched that clip. I loved it so much. There's just something about that. The whole Truth or Dare is... The two coworkers play Truth or Dare. What? Truth or Dare? No. Coworkers play Try Not to Laugh Challenge. Those are two of my favorite videos, too. Two of my favorite oddities, as they're known now. Those have always been some of my favorite oddities in general. Have always been some of my favorite SourceFed videos, but really love those Try Not to Laugh Challenge, and it was a great callback doing that live, and really a testament to their comedic ability that they were able to do that live too, because it's a lot safer behind editing. So it's like, just cut out the really bad jokes or whatever, stuff that didn't really go over. But no, they weren't able to cut out anything, and it was still solid. Steve Zaragoza is one of my favorite people ever. He's one of the funniest, if not the funniest person on the internet, and the funniest person I've seen, period. He's such a brilliant, awesome dude. His energy is so, love that man. I love that man. I've grown to love everyone, too. Will, I really love. Raina, Sam, Mike, and then, yeah, Steven Suptic, who I wasn't, like, that into, and I've heard a lot of people say that, like, around the Super Panic Frenzy days, I wasn't that huge a fan of his. And then when he came back as a host later, then I love that man. He's got some great comedy. Right up my alley with that awkward humor. And Candace can be a little bit much for me at times, but I did really love her too. And Ava, Matt Lieberman, Bree, really all of them. But yeah, something about that group, even not being with them that long, they became such a crucial part of my daily routine, and I did not expect that to end anytime soon. Suptic really described it best when he said it was like an SNL kind of thing with a rotating cast. So as with an SNL kind of thing, I expected maybe eventually we'd have to lose Steve Zaragoza, which people were suspecting for a while because he went part-time, and I was getting worried that we'd lose him soon after that. But luckily he was able to stick it out. My point being, I kind of expected us to lose most, if not all, of this cast over time, and maybe have a new cast eventually, but I never expected it to just end. I just expected it to be an ongoing thing. New hosts come, new hosts go, but didn't really get to see much more. And it's sad because the really new hosts didn't get a chance to shine as much as they could have. They didn't really get a fair chance. Watching that live stream was super emotional for me too, which was really interesting. I didn't expect it to be that emotional. Well, I guess I did, but it's kind of amazing that it had that impact on me in such a short amount of time. Like SourceFed in general. I've grown that attached to these people, to where people are saying, I also follow the Reddit closely, and I've been looking at it nonstop for a while. Especially around the stream time, I was looking at the feed nonstop, just seeing all the new stuff people were saying. But a lot of whether it be the hosts or fans, they're trying to like make it better. Just saying like go follow their social medias, follow their other projects. They all got these different podcasts and everything, which I have been checking out, and I follow pretty much everyone. I think everyone on social media, the hosts at least. But the thing is, for me, this has always been the thing with collaboration channels. You really can't just say, go watch them on their own, it'll be a nice replacement. Watching Reina on her own, which has been good, that was never a replacement for me. I always missed it on SourceFed. Suptic, as good as his videos are, they aren't a replacement for SourceFed because they're just so different, and it's definitely a one-man show for the most part, even though he said he wants to incorporate more people. But just definitely the whole is different than the parts by themselves. Of course, the magic of SourceFed is everyone coming together, and there's different mix matching of different personalities and everything, the products that came out of that. So it really isn't that much of a consolation for me, honestly, that they're going to be doing their solo work. The glimmer of hope is that Will, on his Patreon, has a goal that's almost a SourceFed-esque thing. But that's at a $39,000 goal, which is, that's a super steep amount for Patreon. That would put him in like the top 10 Patreon earning accounts, I believe. Because Blindwave, which is the only Blindwave is the only creator I support on Patreon, and they're at like 12,000 now, and I believe they're in the top 20 or 30 with 12,000, and Will was asking for 39,000 or something like that in order to do a SourceFed thing, which is a realistic number, of course, but I just don't know if it'll be the people we want, because people are like, myself included, I'm like, yeah, just, it would be so nice if they all came together right after and decided to group back together and do their own SourceFed without the corporation. But obviously, not super realistic. Costs a lot of money to do that. That's why a corporation was needed in the first place. Because the crew was a very big part of making that show what it was. And man, I'm really going to miss SourceFed. Dang, I'm getting so off track right now. I wanted to say a while ago, this is my point I was getting to, is that Joe Beretta had a really nice, really emotional speech he gave. I believe it was at the Classic ComCom at the end, the very end of the stream, where he was talking about how the new hosts, Ava, Mike, Suppy, and Candace, really didn't get the chance they deserved. They were cut off just as they were getting to their prime. Just paraphrasing, but they were cut off, and you could hear the emotion in his voice. It was really great to see. And Lee was getting emotional. So many people were getting emotional. Sam was killing me. He was getting so emotional. But it was amazing to see even the old hosts getting emotional when he said it himself. They left their SourceFed 2 years ago, and the new host didn't really get a chance, yet he still has such an attachment that he was like on the verge of tears just talking about it. It was crazy. Because you'd think, they're old hosts, so they've already kind of detached themselves. But Elliot, you saw come back several times, and it was so sad. The final table talk, honestly, I was like so happy seeing that table talk. People were sad there was a hiatus for table talk and everything. But I was like, no, it's fine. I'm super glad that this was even able to happen with all these huge rotating casts for the final table talk. It's like, okay, it'll come back later eventually, or it could get the hiatus treatment, but we still got this great final episode. And then it was literally the next video they put out was the final week, and it's, that's heartbreaking. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. There's so much I probably wanted to say, but I got so sidetracked that I missed points and everything. I loved the final song, the Thank You for Watching SourceFed song that Steve did with everyone behind him. That was such a great way to end the stream. It was just the stream in general was a beautiful way to send off the channel. It'll never be enough. Because even I was watching, and listening to recent podcasts, watching recent videos where they were mentioning like, oh, we got to do this for an oddity sometime, and they never got to do these. There were like so many they mentioned, all these video ideas they had, and they never got to do them, which is really sad. You could definitely tell a lot of them had so much more to offer, but it is what it is. The thing I'm happy about is that since I did come in late, there's that. I have so many older videos that I never got to watch. I did go back and watch a bunch. I watched all the Truth or Dares a while ago. I watched most of the oddities and all that. But there's still a lot of table talks, a lot of comms, and videos in general I haven't watched. I was never really watched SourceFed for the news, which is weird because that's like primarily what they're known for. But I honestly watched pretty much everything but the news. I just never really liked that style, and I know I missed out on some good bits through that. So I want to go back and watch all that. I've been slowly working my way from the very beginning now. But that, I wanted to say, that's a thing I'm grateful for, is that I haven't watched almost any SourceFed podcasts, and I've just been going backwards through them recently. I've watched like 10 of the podcasts just since the breakup. I've been watching tons on my drives to school and work and everything. And so I'm lucky I have all this content to go through, but it's not the same. It's really not. Obviously, I know they're not making new videos, so that's always going to just be... It's always going to be that dark cloud over me when I'm watching them, because I'm like, oh, they're so happy and they have so much they want to do. This is always going to be in the back of my head. But... it's just so sad. Watching all the goodbye videos, watching Trisha's Goodbye SourceFed video, Ava's, Suptic's, I forget who else did them. There were so many emotional ones that it was really amazing to see how everyone was genuinely affected by it. It really struck me when, like Sam was saying on the stream, when he was getting emotional, he was like, I just wish I had appreciated it more while I was doing it. That's like, oh, broke my heart, because he's just a genuinely nice guy the whole time. And yeah, I'm gonna miss that channel. Alright, thanks for watching. If you're a SourceFed fan, let me know. Talk about your memories and stuff. Honestly, there are very few people I knew that watched the channel, which is what makes it really tough too, when a channel you love so much is getting canceled. When you have no one to like confide in, almost, it's really hard, because you can tell someone, oh, one of my favorite channels got canceled, all these people got laid off as a result. It's really unexpected, out of nowhere. They can be like, oh yeah, that sucks, man, but they'll never understand nearly on your level. So if you're a SourceFed fan, please comment below, let me know. Alright, thanks for watching. Love you, SourceFed. I love you, Steve Zaragoza, William Haynes, Mike Falzone, Candice Carrizales, Ava Gordy, Matt Lieberman, Whitney Moore, Philip Molina. Who else? Bree S. Rigg, Steven Suptic. Is that all the main hosts? I also really love Jessica. And John Ross. And then the older ones too. Raina Scully, Maude Garrett, Ross Everett, Joe Beretta, Lee Newton, Elliot Morgan, Trisha Hirschberger, Meg Turney. So many people have been a part of SourceFed in these 5 years. It's crazy. So crazy.